Professor Vern, how's it going? Professor Vern, what is that?
Good morning, Administrator. That's just my robot assistant.
Good morning, Administrator.
It talks. But how does he know my name?
Everybody knows your name, Administrator.
I wonder if the coffee pots and microwave ovens recognize me too.
Coffee pots don't have an artificial intelligent 28-core monster 5 gigahertz processor.
Silence, robot, or I'll disconnect your speech center. Sorry, Administrator. Robot can be a bit sensitive at times.
Never mind, Professor Vern. Can you tell me how railway grade crossings work?
Absolutely, Administrator. Railway crossings provide for the safe passage of motorists and pedestrians across railway tracks. To start with, railway crossings are identified using an advanced warning sign and pavement markings before you get to the crossing.
So it's very important to take notice of the advanced signs and markings?
Absolutely, Administrator. In fact, there's 2 types of grade crossings, passive and active. Now, both types have a crossbuck sign. Now, it's important that motorists know that a crossbuck sign should be treated just like a yield sign, in that we yield for railway traffic.
So what's the difference between active and passive crossings?
Great question, Administrator. Passive crossings contain signs and pavement markings, but active crossings contain automatic red flashing lights and possibly a warning bell and automatic gate arms.
Wow, Professor Vern. So how does it all work?
You see, there is electronic circuitry that senses the presence of oncoming trains. When a train is about 23 seconds from the crossing, the automatic system activates the red flashing lights and warning bell.
So what happens next?
A few seconds after the lights start flashing, the gates begin to descend. Now, there's a huge counterweight on the back of the gate arm, so if the crossing system loses electrical power, the gates simply fall by themselves. This is known as a fail-safe condition.
So the motor isn't needed to lower the gate arms?
Administrator, automatic highway crossing gates are highly intricate mechanisms and shouldn't be discussed using such mundane descriptions.
Sorry, Professor Vern. I'll leave that to you.
Come to think of it, you're actually right this once. It's the counterweights that drive the gates down. Anyway, before the train reaches the crossing, the gates reach their full horizontal position, and they stay down until the train is safely past the crossing.
Professor Vern, I want to observe an active railway grade crossing in operation.
Absolutely. Let's go check one out. Administrator, we're at the grade crossing, and Robot has just told me his sensors indicate the presence of an oncoming train.
Let's see what happens.
Administrator, quickly notice the red lights beginning to flash and the bell sounding off. Now see the gate arms begin to descend. The train should be getting close. And now the gate arms are fully down. Now that the train has passed the crossing, the gates begin to rise, but the lights continue to flash. Now that the gates are fully vertical, the red lights stop flashing. It's now safe to pass through the crossing.
Professor Vern, should drivers wait until the gate arms are all the way up before entering the crossing?
Absolutely, Administrator. In fact, motorists and pedestrians should regard the red flashing lights the same as roadway red traffic lights. When the lights are flashing, everyone should remain stopped.
Good information, Professor Vern. What other info can you give me?
I'm glad you asked that question, Administrator. Motorists and pedestrians should never go around the gates when they're down. There could be a train coming from around a curve that you can't see. Now, in the event that something is broken, causing the gates to be down, maintenance is quickly notified and dispatched to repair the problem. And in the meantime, law enforcement personnel will redirect traffic.
Good points, Professor Vern. So what should a member of the public do if they see something wrong with the grade crossing?
Each crossing has an emergency notification sign, and the public should call the number on the sign. Crossings also have a Department of Transportation or DOT crossing number assigned to each crossing. It's 6 numbers followed by a letter, and it's the best way to identify the crossing you're reporting.
Professor Vern, I can't thank you enough for teaching me today about how railway grade crossings work. I consider this a very high-grade experience.
My pleasure, Administrator.